she was just my maid. But my forbidden desire. The first time I saw her, I never thought she would become the center of my sleepless nights. Her name was Isabella, a quiet woman who had come to work in my house after my divorce. I only thought of her as the maid, until the lines blurred between duty and desire. My house in Los Angeles felt like a museum, silent, spotless, and lonely. After my wife left me for another man, I had learned to live among walls instead of people. That's when Isabella entered. She was in her early 30s, a few years older than me, with long black hair tied neatly as she worked, and eyes that carried both sadness and fire. She didn't talk much, but when she did, her soft Spanish accent lingered in the air like perfume. At first, she was only there to clean. But I found myself watching her more than I should. One evening, I came home late from work. She was still there, dusting the shelves. "You should go home," I said. "I don't mind staying until the work is finished," she replied, her voice gentle. I reached to take the cloth from her hand, and for a second, our fingers touched. Something electric passed through me. She quickly looked away, but her cheeks flushed pink. That small reaction lit a dangerous spark inside me. Days turned into weeks, and the glances between us grew longer. When she bent to pick up laundry, I caught myself staring too long. When I entered the kitchen, she pretended not to notice me, but her hands trembled slightly. One rainy night, she was in the living room folding clothes. I sat across from her, pretending to read, but my eyes kept going back to the curve of her lips, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear. "Do you like working here?" I asked suddenly. She looked at me, surprised. "Yes, it is peaceful." Peaceful. That was the last thing I felt when she was near. The breaking point came one late night. She was about to leave, standing by the door with her umbrella, when I said, almost against my will, "Isabella, I think about you more than I should." She froze. The rain outside filled the silence. "I am your maid," she whispered. "You should not say this." "But it's the truth," I admitted, stepping closer. "Tell me you don't feel it too." Her lips parted, but no words came out. Instead, her eyes betrayed her, a storm of desire and fear. Then she turned quickly and walked out into the rain. After that, things changed. She avoided me, spoke only when necessary, kept her distance. But the distance only made the tension unbearable. One evening, the power went out during a storm. The house was dark, except for the soft glow of candles. I found her in the kitchen, hugging herself against the cold. "Are you scared?" I asked. "No, just cold," she replied. Without thinking, I draped my jacket over her shoulders. She looked up at me, her face glowing in candlelight, her lips trembling as if she wanted to speak but couldn't. And then, she didn't move when I touched her cheek. Her skin was warm, soft, and trembling beneath my fingers. The room seemed to stop breathing. "Isabella," I whispered. She shook her head slightly. "We shouldn't." But when my lips brushed hers, she didn't pull away. The kiss was hesitant at first, then desperate, like both of us had been holding back for too long. Her hands clutched at my shirt, my arms wrapped around her waist. The thunder outside roared, but inside the house, only our breathing filled the silence. That night, we crossed a line we could never return from. The days after were filled with stolen moments. She would brush past me in the hallway, her fingers grazing mine. I would pull her into an empty room, kissing her as if the world might end. But every time, guilt shadowed her eyes. "You are my employer," she said one night, lying in my bed. "This is wrong." "Then why does it feel so right?" I asked, brushing her hair back. She didn't answer, but her silence was its own confession. One evening, my ex-wife came by unexpectedly to collect some old things. She noticed the folded laundry on the couch, the faint trace of perfume in the air. "Do you have someone here?" she asked, suspicion dripping from her voice. I lied, but Isabella overheard everything from the kitchen. Later, she confronted me. "This will not stay hidden forever. People will talk. You could lose everything." I cupped her face in my hands. The only thing I can't lose is you. Tears welled in her eyes, but she kissed me fiercely, as if trying to believe my words. Weeks later, Isabella told me she was leaving. I cannot stay, she said, packing her things. If your ex-wife finds out, she will destroy you. I cannot be the reason. I felt panic rise in my chest. Isabella, please. I need you. Stay. Her hands shook as she zipped her bag. You don't understand. My past, it's complicated. That night, for the first time, she told me her secret. She wasn't just a maid. She had once been married to a wealthy man who abused her, controlled her, and left her broken. She fled, changed cities, and started over as a housekeeper to survive. I can't go through that again, she whispered. I can't be trapped. I pulled her into my arms. You're not trapped. Not with me. You're free, and you're mine. The decision hung between us. Stay and risk everything, or leave and live safely in loneliness. That night, she stayed. Not as my maid. Not as my secret. But as the woman I had fallen hopelessly, dangerously, passionately in love with. We knew the world would never understand. But when her lips touched mine, I didn't care. Because sometimes love is worth the risk, even when it's forbidden. She came into my life as just my maid. But she became my deepest temptation and my greatest love. Some stories are not meant for fairy tales, but they are unforgettable.